Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's Tuesday night, and in a few moments you'll get to hear my thoughts and feelings on episode 7 of the Kings of Napa. There's only one episode left for the season, and I would definitely like to see how the story wraps up. But as usual, this review will cover a brief recap of what happened during the episode, as well as my thoughts on the storylines that were present throughout the episode. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Episode 7, entitled Bamboozled, follows 4 storylines. First, the big reveal as it relates to Melanie. Second, Bridget's next move. Third, Dana begins to cheat, respectfully of course. And finally, Kelvin and August are in a bad place. Let's start off with Melanies Big Reveal. For the past several episodes, Melanie has been very sick, but we as the audience never really knew what was wrong with her. It turns out that as the family is at the hospital, the doctor comes out and lets them know that Melanie has some sort of African sleeping sickness, and the infection has slipped into her brain. The doctor also mentions that Melanie may not have long to live, so it will behoove Bridget to see her ASAP. Now, I'm far from any kind of expert on medical issues, but to me, it really makes no sense for Melanie to go from having a head injury from the previous episode to having an African sleeping sickness this episode. But then again, I'm no medical professional. But let's talk about Bridget's next move. Aunt Yvette meets up with Bridget in jail, and at this point in the season, Yvette is the only family member who actually supports Bridget. As Bridget is talking to Yvette, Yvette is showing signs that she doesn't know what to believe. Nevertheless, Bridget asks Yvette for 2 favors. 1, to get her a good lawyer, and 2, to ask August to come visit her in jail. So Aunt Yvette happily obliges Bridget. August goes to visit Bridget and they have their face off. August calls Bridget out for knowing Reggie was her father the whole time. Bridget tries to explain herself, but August is having none of it. Bridget then realizes that August plans to take her down to make her family happy. Bridget welcomes the fight. Aunt Yvette also meets up with Kelvin to ask him to represent Bridget in her upcoming trial. And Kelvin responded like any guy I know would in his position. He tried to avoid the situation like it was a bill collector, but Yvette guilt trips Kelvin into representing Bridget, and the rest was history. When Bridget and Kelvin finally meet, he lets her know that the DA is offering her 6 months in jail, 5 months probation, and she also has to pay restitution as part of the deal. Kelvin encourages Bridget to take the deal, and Bridget in turn fires Kelvin, only to hire him back in less than 24 hours. It doesn't help Bridget's case that she told Sean and Sean about August's plans for dessert wine, and now they have their own dessert wine at a better price point. It also doesn't help that Yvette's wine distributing boyfriend has dropped the King's wine and is now representing Sean and Sean. Now, in my opinion, this show is a little too obvious when it comes to subverting expectations. While the majority of the episodes suggest that Bridget is the extortionist, I'm willing to bet the house that she is not the extortionist. However, that doesn't mean she's without fault. Bridget was angry with the Kings for how they treated her and her mother earlier in the season, and she wanted revenge for that. The fact that Reggie didn't leave her a bigger piece of the empire was icing on the cake. I think Bridget planned for the Kings and Sean to be put against each other, and when the time was right, Bridget and Rose would start up their own wine company and become the top dogs. But as of right now, I still firmly believe that the extortionist is someone who has access to the home. Earlier in the episode, there's a white server who spoke to the King kids, and the show made it seem like he could be the extortionist, but I don't think so. That's just another subversion of expectations. But those are my thoughts on that storyline. Now let's talk about Dana exercising his options. Throughout this episode, Rose is still missing in action, and Dana chooses to heal his broken heart by getting endless happy endings from the massage therapist who are passionate about helping their clients relax in more ways than one. And I really can't blame Dana for choosing to go down this path. His wife betrayed his trust more than once, and Dana needed to release some stress. So I'm proud of Dana for solving this problem the right way. And finally, let's talk about August and Kelvin. August decided to deal with Kelvin while knowing that he has close ties with her family, and while knowing that he's still legally married to his wife. Yet the 2 variables become an issue for her later on in the episode. August felt a sense of betrayal when Kelvin decided to become Bridget's lawyer, and I really don't get it. August has known about the possibility of Bridget being the extortionist for the past 2 episodes, yet she was the only voice of reason trying to give Bridget the benefit of the doubt. And I understand that August felt some type of way that Bridget admitted to sharing her dessert wine secret with Sean and Sean, but August also has to accept accountability for firing Bridget for no good reason in the beginning of the season. And later on in the episode, we as the audience finally learn why Kelvin has been distant with August. And that's because his wife is still watching his every move, and she is looking for any reason to take him to the cleaners before the divorce is finalized. So with all that's going on, I still don't understand why August is mad at the bed that she helped make. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this episode a 4. I wasn't too thrilled with the storytelling, and the acting performances weren't any better. With there only being one episode left in the season, I'm definitely expecting it to blow my expectations out of the water. But we shall see. So this marks the end of my review. If you have any questions or comments, then leave them below in the comment section, and I'll reply to everyone. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.